Hey guys, welcome to the Science and Tech and Environment lecture of Samachar Manthan. This is for the last week of June 2018. Let's begin. Alright, the first topic is Amendment in Plastic Waste Management Rules. This topic is important from environment point of view, and for prelims you need to study the Plastic Waste Management Rules of 2016 as well as the nudge theory. And for mains, link between nudge theory and usage of plastic becomes important. Okay, let's dive right into the details. The first topic is change made in the plastic waste management rules. The first point says that it is the Union Ministry of Environment which has amended these rules. So this is something from where a question can come. The second point also is important. It says that the amendment includes manufacturers, suppliers as well as sellers of plastic. Then the amended rules mandate phasing out within 2 years of all such products which have no alternative use or are non-recyclable and non-energy recoverable. So these are the criteria which will have to be fulfilled to phase them out within 2 years. So definitely a question can come from this part. Then the third point talks about a statewide ban in Maharashtra. So this is something which you can use as examples in your mains also. And the next topic is what comprises plastic waste and what are its components. So plastic waste is categorized into two types. The first is thermoplastics and the second is thermoset plastics. So thermoplastics contribute about 80% of the total waste. So thermoplastic have the overwhelming majority, account for overwhelming majority of your plastic waste, while thermoset constitutes only about 20%. Also, thermoplastics are recyclable. Okay, this is very important. This can be asked in PT. And the following are the types of thermoplastics. So this thing also can be asked. So you need to know all these types of thermoplastics. A question in prelims can come, that is, it will give you 4 or 5 options and then will say how many of these are categorized as thermoplastics. So various options can be given then. So this is definitely important. And the fourth point says thermoset plastics, they contain these kinds of plastics. Okay, the next topic is these are general points. Definitely these things can be included in your mains to enrich your answer. So India is not very strong when it comes to handling plastic waste. Then the daily plastic waste is 26,000 tons. Okay, so this is pretty huge. And also the specifications for recycling, please note it is for recycling. The different types of plastics, it was given by Bureau of Indian Standards, that is BIS, almost 2 decades back. Okay, but it was not implemented. So the problem remains the same. What is the fun in having all those rules and specifications when they cannot be implemented? So that is why the problem has now become ugly and it has become imperative to address it. Let's move on to the next page now. The next important point is that plastic carry bags are the biggest contributors of littered waste. So this point is important for prelims as well. And the next thing, the things which I'm skipping, they are important for mains, but they are self-explanatory. If you read them, you will understand them without any problem. So I'm just skipping through them and only focusing on things which are complicated or are important for prelims. Okay, so then nudging consumers. अच्छा भाई देखो ये जो term है nudge. Now this term has become extremely popular this year because of the latest Nobel Prize in Economics, which was won by this person Richard Thaler. Okay, so he has done research in behavioral economics, and this nudge has become popularized because of that. Nudge means giving a small push, a slight push. Okay, persuade somebody. So you can use nudge in anything. Nudge for behavioral change communication in terms of sanitation. Basically, you'll find this word everywhere nowadays. Okay, and the other important word for economics is disruptive. Okay, disruptive technologies, anything can be disruptive now. So these two are very popular words, keywords you can use them as. And yeah, so the 2 points which you'll see is government doesn't want to coerce. Okay, it wants to just nudge citizens, and this word has become popular because of Nobel Prize won by Richard Thaler. So this can be asked in PT. All right, so that will be all in this slide. The next topic is toxic air is causing malnutrition in trees. All right, so this is an environment related news. For prelims, you need to focus on mycorrhizal fungi. For mains, it is not directly important, but you can definitely quote it as example in your air pollution related questions. All right. So the study was done in Europe. Okay, this is the first thing you need to remember. It is not an India-based observation. So it was done in Europe, and it found that this particular fungi, this mycorrhizal fungi, which is hosted by trees in their roots. Okay, this can be asked in prelims. It is hosted in roots, and it helps in extracting nutrients from the soil. Now these nutrients include nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, etc., and thus it is in a symbiotic relationship with the tree or with its host. And another important thing to note is that although these nutrients are good in limited quantities, but in excessive quantities, that is high levels, they act as pollutants. So you need to be very careful with the language of your option in prelims. All right, then we'll come to the impact of malnutrition. So you'll have discolored leaves, you'll have excessive falling of leaves. Also, besides air pollution, ecosystem changes can adversely affect tree health. So that will be all in this topic. The next topic is how Maharashtra, Gujarat, Bengaluru and Chennai are tackling water crisis. This picture gives you extremely important data that can be used in your mains, in your answers. The first is about 60 crore Indians face extreme water stress. Okay, this word is important. Extreme water stress is faced by so many Indians. 7 water related disputes, major disputes, okay, are ongoing as of now. These involve 11 states, and 6% of India's GDP will be lost by 2050 due to these water crises. Also, 21 major cities will run out of groundwater very soon, and this will affect about 10 crore people. All right. This data about 55,000, this is not very important, you can skip it. This map is important. The green states are those which have done well. The red ones are those in trouble. Then this section, the red part, is about what can be done. So suggestions are there, you can include it in your answers, go through them, they're very easy. Let's come to the text now. So this topic is an environment related topic. For prelims, composite water management index is important. For mains, it is not directly important, but you can take these as best practices and quote as examples. Okay, so this part talks about community measures for water conservation. Okay, this is important, so please use them as examples. Niti Aayog has developed this index. The name is Composite Water Management Index. These points we have already studied. Then is your Maharashtra, this organization, Pani Foundation. Okay, this has done a good job in drought management. So please use it as examples. So examples of these community measures include in Gujarat, farmers will be given the power to manage their own water. Also, water user associations, these bodies will be revived. Uh, Now, it has been evidenced that local cooperatives work far better than government mandated schemes. Okay, that is why that is the idea behind this push. And irrigation cooperatives will be launched. This is, we are talking about Gujarat. Come to Bengaluru. Here, citizens have come together to create a joint federation. This is the largest gathering of urban residents, okay, anywhere in the country. Then this is about waters of river Kaveri, and another body or another initiative you can say is Whitefield Rising. So this is also in about your water related issues, and we are talking about Bangalore here. Next we are talking about Chennai. So groundwater turnaround has happened. So wherever you see, normally if you read about groundwater, you'll only be reading bad news, but here it is good news. And the groundwater resources of Chennai have consistently gone up. This is important, consistently gone up. And the reason is very, very simple. Rainwater harvesting structures have been popularized. That's all. Okay, so you can use this as example in your answers. And way forward again is very simple. Then rain is a predominant source of fresh water, so artificial recharge through rainwater harvesting is the way forward. And this needs to be done at both micro and macro levels. The next topic is India prepares quest to find $1 trillion nuclear fuel on the moon. Alright, so it's a pretty interesting topic. Let's come straight away to the details. So the isotope in question is helium-3. Now, meaning of isotope I have already discussed in detail in our radioactivity wala lecture. So please go through that if you don't understand it. I'll straight away begin with helium-3. So India is going to explore the southern side of the moon. Okay, this is very important. The second thing is India is planning to study the potential for mining. Now this mining will be of helium-3 and it is a waste free nuclear fuel. Okay, so this is important because the present technology produces tremendous amounts of dangerous radioactive waste. So this is a very promising thing. And let's talk about helium-3. So it was deposited on moon by solar winds. Okay, so the original source of helium-3 is solar winds, and it deposited immense quantities of this material on the moon. This is because the moon is not protected by a magnetic field like the earth. Okay, so the inner core, which is made up of iron, largely iron and nickel, it produces a magnetic field which protects earth from solar winds, solar flares, etc. But moon doesn't have anything like that, and this led to deposition of this resource. Its presence was confirmed by Apollo missions. Okay, Apollo missions were of NASA, and they began in early 1970s. And there are wonderful Hollywood movies also. So if you find time, so you may watch them. They're absolutely wonderful. Okay, the next point. This resource can meet global energy demand for the next 250 years. All right. The next point is it provides safe nuclear energy in a fusion reactor. This is important. Okay, there are two types of nuclear reactors, fusion and fission. So fusion will be required for helium-3, and it is not radioactive. This is again very important, can be asked in prelims. So that will be all in this page. Let's move on to the next. The next point is China is the only country to put a lander and a rover on the moon in this century. This century means 21st century. All right. So there are a few things. One is lander, one is rover, then one is orbiter that orbits. So China used this mission, Chang-3 mission, for this, and it was done in 2013. Let us move on to the next point about India's mission. So we have launched Chandrayaan-1. It was done in 2008, and it was an orbiter. Okay, it just orbits, it has not landed on the moon, and its achievement is that it has discovered molecules of water on the surface. Okay, and this has been done for the first time. This is important. The next point is Chandrayaan 2 will include an orbiter, a lander, as well as a rover. So this is good. And again, the primary objective of Chandrayaan 2 will be helium 3, finding helium 3, and that will be all in this topic. The next topic is Delhi tree cutting issue. All right, so the issue was that in the last 7 years, Delhi Forest Department has given sanctions for a lot of trees being cut, more than 40,000. But this is the first time that so many trees, about 14,000 trees, have been proposed to be cut in South Delhi, and this was for some government colony to be made. All right, so that is why massive protests have erupted, and the only important thing here is that the State Forest Department gives the permission for cutting of trees. So this can be a generic rule that can be applied. Let's move on to the next page. The reason behind the decision is shortage of government accommodation, and all this information, these are all basic generic points, you can go through them yourself. The important thing is this transplantation. All right, so there is a suggestion that those trees will be transplanted. So what are the challenges? The transplantation process requires expertise, time, patience, and a lot of luck. See, this is interesting. Luck will mean that the technology is not dependable. It does not always work, the technology to transplant. So this is an issue. And then the next point, tropical trees are not conducive to transplantation. This is important and can be asked in prelims. So tropical trees, they cannot be easily transplanted because tropical regions have lower water table, dry hote hain, so the water table generally is low in the ground, and that is why the trees have deep roots. Deep roots means extracting the tree from the ground and replacing or placing it at a new location is a challenging task. It is also very costly. All right, so that will be all in this page. Let's move on to the next. Next, we talk about the National Buildings Construction Corporation Limited, or the NBCC. The first point is that it is a Navratna organization under category 1. All right, so very important point. It is a CPSU and it trades publicly in the market. This means that its shares are listed in the stock exchange, and it is largely owned by Government of India. This is important. It is not completely, it is only largely owned by Government of India, and it is engaged in the business of real estate development, construction, as well as project management consultancy. It is also implementing some overseas projects. So the illustrative list is given here, and it is also an implementing agency for these government programs. So please go through the list. Next is government bans oxytocin hormone to curb misuse. So this decision was taken by the Union Ministry of Health and Family Welfare, and it has banned the manufacture, sale of this hormone for domestic use in the private sector. Okay, and basically it is being done because it is being misused. So the import also has been banned, and Karnataka Antibiotics and Pharmaceuticals Limited will be the only organization that will be allowed to manufacture this drug and supply it. Okay, see, public and private hospitals will be getting this drug, but only the registered ones. Coming to oxytocin, it is also known as love hormone. So remember, this can be asked. These are the functions. We will be studying it in this diagram only, this picture, I'm sorry. So what is oxytocin? It is a hormone secreted by the pituitary gland. Important point. It plays an important role in reproduction, childbirth, and lactation, apart from social interaction. Okay, this is an important point, so please don't mess up here. It is used in both humans as well as in animals to accelerate normal labor. So this is during childbirth, and it is supposed to induce rhythmic contractions. Again, a point related to childbirth. It is used in farm animals to boost milk productivity and stimulate the mammary gland. So that will be all in this page. Alright, this part talks about the misuse of oxytocin. So in dairy industry, farmers are giving oxytocin to animals to increase milk production, and also they are trying to change the timing of milk extraction. So meddling with the natural cycles of animals makes them barren and also shortens their lives. This is the first point. Then it is also being used in agriculture to increase the size of vegetables. You must have seen many news reports as well that injections are being given to vegetables to increase their size and make them more attractive. The other misuse is amongst trafficked children. So it is given to accelerate puberty among girls. So sad truth. And the next is it is also being misused in government hospitals. All right, so this is surprising, and it is being used here to speed up deliveries amongst pregnant women, and this is because the hospitals are overcrowded. All right, so that will be all in this topic. The next topic is Power Ministry may make 24 degrees Celsius as the default setting for ACs. So this news is not really important for prelims, but for mains you can cite it as an example of government efforts in energy conservation. So the first point is mandatory default setting of 24 degrees Celsius is being mooted, and this range will be allowed 24 to 26 degrees. The first and the most obvious impact will be saving of energy. So a few facts are here that 1% increase in AC temperature saves 6% of energy consumed. This is pretty immense. Also, normal human body temperature is about 36-37 degrees Celsius. This is important, can be asked in prelims. And now the issue is there are many commercial establishments which maintain a temperature of 18 to 21 degrees Celsius. So there's a huge difference, almost 50% lower than normal human body temperature. And if this is being done in tropical countries like India, it will naturally impact the human body's capability to fight heat stress, and thus make it more vulnerable to health problems. All right. The next point is that such ideas are being implemented in countries like Japan. So you must know that Japan is a country that is located in higher latitude. So higher latitude means lower temperature, naturally lower temperature, and that's why they need to make their temperature more comfortable. So they need to increase their temperature. India needs to decrease, the higher latitude countries need to increase their temperature, and this is the setting there. You don't really need to know this figure. If you can remember, it's good, otherwise you can just skip. Coming to impact of the campaign, the first point says that by 2030 the load of ACs is expected to be about 200 gigawatts. All right, and today only about 6% of households have ACs. So that means naturally electricity consumption through ACs is going to increase, and then having such regulations will save electricity, a very obvious point. It will also reduce greenhouse gas emissions, definitely. That will be all in this page. Let's move on to the next. This part talks about how the decision is going to be implemented, so not really important. Finally, we have come to the end of the video, guys. I hope you liked it. In case of any doubt, please contact me on Telegram. Till next time, take care. Bye-bye.